This week on Machinery Pete TV, our first completely online auction. Pete joins Sullivan Auctioneers' Dan Sullivan online for the play-by-play. 6 generations have enjoyed this 1935 John Deere A, and on MachineryPete.com, a treasure trove of auction price data just a click away.
Your machinery is a serious investment and at the heart of every farming operation. Some call it a passion. We're Machinery Pete TV, and today we'll cover everything from auction roundups to the classics to the latest trends and technology. Machinery Pete, the most trusted name in farm equipment.
Machinery Pete thanks these premier sponsors for their support. Sullivan Auctioneers. Let our team of professionals show you how to make your auction a success. Visit sullivanauctioneers.com. Hey folks, welcome to Machinery Pete TV, first episode of Season 8. Thank you so much for watching all these years. Now, something we've never done before. We're filming an online-only auction. Of course, with the pandemic, things have changed here early 2020, and this farm estate sale, I'm telling you what, has some amazingly clean late model equipment. It's going to be interesting to watch it sell, but before we do, let's throw back the studio, catch up on the very latest farm machinery news.
Thanks, Pete. I'm Clinton Griffiths. Soybeans soaring above the $10 mark after USDA lowered its projected yield and production forecast for corn and soybeans. USDA making big changes after that powerful windstorm hit Iowa and other states. The U.S. corn crop now estimated at 178.5 bushels to the acre and almost 15 billion bushels of production. That's down 2%. Iowa, hard hit by the derecho, specifically lowered by 11 bushels. Now for soybeans, a smaller change here. USDA now calling for yields to be just under 52 bushels an acre and production down 3%. The EPA denying most of those so-called gap year refinery exemption requests. The refiner requests were for blending waivers from 2011 to 2018. Refiners had applied for those exemptions after an appeals court decision earlier this year. That decision said waivers could only be granted in successive years starting back in 2010, which is why small refiners were seeking dozens of retroactive waivers from past years. At last report, refiners had filed 68 applications for those waivers. 54 are believed to be impacted by this decision. And we're still tallying up the damage from natural disasters across the U.S., which could cost billions of dollars in 2020. That's according to the insurance company Aon. It found Hurricane Laura led to at least $10 billion in economic losses. Hurricane Isaias is estimated to cost the economy $5 billion. And the record heat and wildfires in California may end up costing more than $1 billion. That's it for news. Now let's check on some recent auction prices from around the country. And now back to Machinery Pete.
Hey, stay with us folks. Coming up, we've got some beautiful machinery we're going to watch sell. But first we're going to learn a little bit about the farmer whose estate sale this is, Jim Bedecker. Beautiful farm here in Morris, Illinois. Hey folks, I'm here with Darren Sackman. Darren, you worked with Jim for almost 2 decades, didn't you?
Yes, I did. 17 years I was with him.
Okay.
Between his trucking company and his farming, yep, had a lot of years together.
And what was it like working with Jim all those years?
Oh, it was fun. You know, he was a remarkable person to work for.
Yeah, he built an incredible business, didn't he, on the trucking side?
Yes, he did. He spent, you know, pretty close to 40 years of his life building, you know, a very successful trucking company. Right. Yes, he did.
And Jim grew up on a farm, is that correct?
Correct.
In this Morris,
Yep. He was a
area?
farmer. he would tell me some of the stories when he was a kid, what he used to have to do, because we would laugh about how farming is today and how it was back then.
Towards the end, Jim had kind of aggressive cancer, but he was out in the field working hard. Did you say chiseling or discing?
Oh yeah. We harvested up until when we got all that done, which was into December.
Right.
And he stayed working right up until about not long before he passed away.
He just loved being out there, huh?
Yep. Yeah.
Well, folks, I tell you what, a ton of clean machinery on this online farm auction today. Luke, you came up how long ago to write up the sale?
We were here about roughly 2 months ago for the first time to pull the equipment out and take the photographs.
So you were here that first day?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what was your impression when you saw this machinery first time?
Probably as surprised as I've ever been walking into a machine shed the first time that I came here. I heard through the grapevine that they had some really nice machinery, but I didn't know it was going to be this caliber.
Right. And speaking of clean, my goodness, our 2011 9630T, how many hours on this baby, Luke?
It's got about 2,800 hours on it.
Okay. The first time you saw it, what did you think?
It would pass for one with about 1,000 hours on it,
does.
and that says a lot. Just a kind of a really neat tractor here, being pre-emissions.
Right.
In the biggest size that they made, a 9630T. The tracks are in great condition. Just a cool tractor that you don't come across every day.
Dan, this thing's got just under 2,800 hours on it. Looked like a pretty sharp rig.
It is real nice tractor from with the line of equipment that this gentleman had. It's the pictures. It's not embellished at all, or it's as nice as it looks.
Yeah, it doesn't look 9 years old.
No, it doesn't. But coming from a tremendous estate, beautiful farmstead, and just a great family to be working with.
Now, this one the night before, how high did this thing get?
The evening before, Greg, 120,000. So there was quite a bit of bidding early on, and got it up there, to a respectable price, even the night before.
Right. Yeah, and coming in at final sale price there, folks, $146,000. That is way over the average price. The last 18 I've seen of these 9630s Ts that I've seen sold, Dan, I think average price is just under 120. So again, solid price there at 146. Okay, folks, now we're drifting into loader tractor country here. Luke, pretty nice rig here, this 14 model 6150R.
It is, yeah, it's a nice tractor, nice size, nicely equipped. We're selling it complete with the H360 loader. It's got the 20-speed transmission, so you can get down the road quick, and then it's also auto track ready, which is nice to have all three of those options on one tractor.
And I didn't catch the listing. How many hours roughly on this thing?
Just a little over 1,000, had about 1,005.
So for a 6-year-old tractor,
not too
pretty
bad.
good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. What have you been seeing with loader tractors here so far in 2020?
We've been seeing a strong buyer demand on the loader tractors, just like a lot of other pieces of equipment. When you find something that, if you've mentioned so many times, Greg, if it's, one owner, low-hour, well-maintained, and it has the right story to it, there's plenty of buyers out there for these loader tractors.
Yeah, and again, so here's a 14 model versus a brand new one. That's a pretty big gap there. So it makes that really good, 6-year-old one with 1,000 hours, pretty darn attractive option, doesn't it?
Yes, it sure does. And again, when you have an estate auction and a line of equipment to complement this tractor, one kind of feeds off of another, and you can just kind of take one look at the brochure, the internet bidding catalog, and you can tell what kind of condition this equipment's in, and that always helps.
Right, now this thing clocks in at $93,000. That's again, I sound like a broken record here, Dan, but all your sales do this. $93,000, that's the fourth highest I've seen this year on a 6150R. So again, another solid result here.
Yes, it was, Greg, and that's another item that the sale managers, Luke and Matt Sullivan, they talked about this 6150R numerous different times, and the amount of phone calls they had on that. So going into it, a few days before the sale, we felt we were going to have a close to a record-setting, price on it, with the amount of the interest across the entire country on this tractor. So surprises in a good way, but again, low-hour, one owner. Coming off a farming operation like this sale, it had all the ingredients for a good, strong price.
Here are a few more items that sold on today's sale.
Machinery Pete TV, brought to you by Ag Direct. For simple, fast, and flexible equipment financing, ask for Ag Direct. Your next piece of equipment is on MachineryPete.com. Search equipment from dealerships across the country to find what you're looking for. Only on MachineryPete.com.
Well, folks, the other night on our Machinery Pete Facebook page and our Twitter feed, I posted a link to over 200 horse tractors built in the 1980s and 90s for sale at MachineryPete.com. Now, I tell you, there were some nice tractors in this list, but one in particular was really turning a lot of heads and generating a ton of comments. And it was this 1998 Case IH 8950 with 2,290 hours on it for sale at Anderson Tractor Supply in Bluffton, Ohio. And they're asking $89,000 for it. Now, you might look at that sale price and think, gosh, that seems kind of pie in the sky high, but I'm telling you, it's not. That thing's priced to move. Now, here's a look at the 3 highest auction sale prices I've seen on Case IH 8950s. And you can see back on March 1st of 2014, this 99 model with 3,325 hours on it, right next door in Marble, Pennsylvania, actually sold for $90,000. And then also a pair sold for $88,000. Welcome back to Tractor Tales, folks. This week we're going to head to the Show Me State, and we've got a hedgerow special for you. Darrell Walter shows off a gem he found in a hedgerow on one of their farms. And after some TLC, this John Deere A from the 1930s is in prime condition in hopes he can keep it around for generations to come.
We brought 4 tractors, and they're all different. My favorite is the 1935 A John Deere, and it's been in the family for 6 generations. Grandpa Davis, he lived down around the Sugar Tree area. They farmed down in there. He bought it, then it went to my uncle, Warren Davis, and he used it to farm with. Then it went to my mother, and then my mother gave it to me, and we still have more generations to come. It was sitting in a hedgerow. It had a hedge limb that big around laying across the gas tank, and the hood and the steering rod was bent. So it had some, and it was stuck, and nobody had messed with it for 30 years probably. My dad helped me with it. We worked on it one entire winter. We had fun. It's a very rare tractor. It's an early 35 model. They started making A John Deeres in 1934. And anybody that collects John Deeres knows what an open fan shaft A is. And they're really, really hard to find. I like it more every year. I used to tractor pull with it before I knew what I had. And then I realized what I had, so we pretty much quit doing tractor pulling with it. Yeah, I'm gonna hand it down one of these days. It won't be worth anything to them because I'm gonna tell them never to sell it. So it's really a burden instead of but some of them I think want it, and I think it'll get taken care of.
Hey, don't touch the dial, folks. You're not going to want to miss our feature item on our online-only auction, this 2018 John Deere 9620RX. This thing could be pretty hot today.
Got equipment to sell privately but tired of scams and hassles? Visit MachineryPete.com and click Sell Mine. MachineryPete.com, the simple and secure way to buy and sell equipment online.
All right, folks, time for our feature item here. Now, Luke, last time I had you filming at an auction, we were standing in front of a 4440 on a snowy Minnesota day.
That's right.
With like 2,000 hours. A little different tractor today.
Sure.
Tell us about it.
Sure, both are exciting, but in their own ways.
You
So
got
this is a 2018 John Deere 9620RX that we're going to be selling here on the Jim Bedeker estate. And it's pretty well loaded up. It's got a PTO, luxury cab with cab suspension, and the best part is it's only got a little over 600 hours.
Wow. And did Jim buy this local, or is this from a local dealer?
It is. This is actually the second one that he had. He bought a used one to begin with,
Sure.
and had it for about a year, and he liked it so much that at the end of the year he went and traded it at AHW for a new one.
Well, Dan, our feature item on the online auction today, man, this tractor, this 18 John Deere 9620RX, 623 hours, got warranty left on it. Wow, a lot of interest in it. What have you guys been seeing leading up to sale morning here?
Well, you've been spot on, Greg, with as far as the equipment. If it's nice and low houred and well kept, a lot of buyer demand across the country, and especially when you get these late model tractors where there maybe wasn't the production as there was in 2013, 14, and 15. So when you get something just a year or two old, wow, it's been really strong, Greg.
Well, strong, I guess. Man, we just clocked in here $407,000, folks. That, I tell you, you know how long I've been covering auctions, over 30 years. That's the highest auction price I've ever seen on a modern tractor. What do you make of that 407, Dan?
We were surprised. The sale managers, Luke and Matt Sullivan, my nephews, were following this thing really close, fielding a lot of calls on it, and they have a big smile on their face. I think they were thinking that bring somewhere in that 375 to 385, kind of with that other one. And when it hit 400,000, and we were high-fiving. It was pretty neat.
Yeah, I think just for perspective, folks, the current average auction price on an 18 model 9620RX is $447,159. So, man, you're 407 hard cash. That's awesome, Dan. Folks, if you're wondering what's happening in the used combine market, I tell you, you don't have to wonder. Just go to machinerypete.com and click on the auction price data link. And as I've said here recently, we've opened this up. It's free for anyone to hop in and look at all the prices now. So if you go in there, click on combines, you can use our search filters. You'll see we saw 84 combines sold just in the last week, over 400 sold in the month of August. Now, one that sold last Thursday on a farm auction in northwest Iowa was this 2015 New Holland CR890, 1,441 engine hours on it, went for $140,000. Now, if you're wondering what's happening on the late model John Deere side, very interesting one sold the next day, last Friday, farm auction southwest Minnesota. This 2019 John Deere S770, this thing only had 90 engine hours on it, sold for $285,000. Now, when you're doing a search on any piece of equipment, in the upper right corner, you'll see a link, it'll say average pricing. So if you do that on a John Deere S770 combine, you'll see so far this year, average auction price, $256,683. Now you might wonder, how much more is a John Deere S780 worth? Well, hop in, do a search on S780s, click on the average pricing link, and you'll see so far this year, we've seen 18 of them. Average auction price, $307,742 with a high of $371,000 and a low of $230,000. So again, folks, don't guess, know the answer. Go to machinerypete.com. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed episode 1 of season 8 of our Machinery Pete TV show. First time we've ever featured an online-only farm auction. How interesting to watch the bidding, especially on the feature item, the John Deere 9620RX, $407,000. That's the highest auction price I've ever seen on a modern tractor. Now tune in next week to Machinery Pete TV, folks. I guarantee you we'll have a few more auction surprises. Machinery Pete thanks these premier sponsors for their support. Sullivan Auctioneers. Let our team of professionals show you how to make your auction a success. Visit sullivanauctioneers.com.